Hey y'all, thank you for tuning in to Heroes Daily Sauce. Sorry about me moving all over the place, just trying to have some consistency. Once again, forgive the little clothes in the background. I know on the last video, I didn't have all that. I guess it was earlier. Like I said, I actually filmed 2 videos today. And so this particular video that I am doing, before I go any further, thank you so much for tuning in to Carol's Daily Sauce. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to click on the bell to be reminded of each and every video that I upload. What I'm doing on today, or this evening, I'm so tired. And you know, I often hear YouTubers saying that, and I'm like, well, go to bed then. It's really not that easy when you're trying to be consistent. All this rigmarole you guys see right here is my pillow because my back is kind of giving me some blues. Anyway, this is a too much information 100 question tag. I refuse to answer all those questions. Some of those questions were absolutely, positively, straight up nosy. Some of them were irrelevant, and I'm only speaking for me. But anyway, this is a too much information question tag. I believe I have, I think it was like 100, but I believe I have 36. That's what I decided to answer. So anyway, the very first thing that I want to let you guys know is that I was tagged by Kiva. Her channel is called I Am Kiva. She's a bomb. I love her. She is the most hilarious YouTuber. She's very real and she don't hold nothing back, and I love her. I think she's just great. I do want to tell her congratulations because Kiva just made her 1,000 subscribers, I want to say over the weekend, and she's constantly growing, but her content is amazing, so I'm not surprised. She's good. Go check out her channel. I Am Kiva, K-E-V-A. But anyway, she was the one who tagged me. She's the one who sent me this TMI question tag. So I went through and answered what it was that I could and that I would, because like I said, some of it was entirely irrelevant to me. Okay, so number 1, the biggest turn on in person, the biggest turn off. I'm just cracking up because this is just bringing me back down memory lane. The biggest turn off for me in person, period. I'm married now and I don't have to worry about this, but the biggest turn off in person, even now, even before, even in friendships, is body odor. I'm sorry. It's too much water. It's too much soap. It's too much stuff for us to be going around tanking. I'm just sorry. So mine would be body odor. Number 2, the biggest turn on for me obviously, is my husband. Ever since I've met him, he's always smelled absolutely yummy. He's never been a stinky butt or anything. The third question is your zodiac sign. Is what it suggests that you are. I'm telling y'all, excuse me, I gotta get some tissue because is what it suggests that you are you what it suggests that you are? Surprisingly yes. My zodiac sign is exactly what my personality is exactly what it suggests. I am, however, under the zodiac sign of a Cancer. I'm very giving. I love people. I do anything for my family, especially my children and my grandchildren. However, I no longer live under zodiac signs. I don't say, oh, I'm a Cancer. You know, as far as my birthday, yeah, but all that other kind of stuff, no, I don't too much even get into that. Question number 4. At what age did you realize that Santa was not real? I was never taught about the fat little Caucasian man. I can remember from day one, my mother telling us meaning myself and my siblings, that she was Santa Claus. So I never knew about Santa Claus. I did, however, look at all of the Santa Claus and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer cartoons and things that came out around Christmas time, but I knew that yeah, my mama was Santa Claus. You guys, I gotta change, I gotta fix this. I need to, there we go. Yeah, I think that's better. There we go. Yeah, I think that's better. Okay, what is the best compliment that you've ever received? The best compliment that I've ever received. This is gonna sound this is question number 5, and it's gonna sound very, very, very conceited. Some of y'all may look at it and say, "Oh, no, she did not go there." Yes, I did, because I'm very voluptuous and have been my entire life. I am a big thigh, big bottom, tiny waist chick. The best compliments that I have always gotten have been for my waist and for my hips, because as far as ratio, my waist is really tiny compared to my thighs and my hips and things. So I think the biggest compliments would probably be my waist and my hips. Question number 6. Do I hate anyone right now? I'm proud to tell you that I have no hate for no one in my life right now. No hate whatsoever. Question number 7. Do you have any tattoos? I most definitely do. I got a tattoo about 22 years ago. It is actually a colored butterfly on my left shoulder. At the time that I got it, I was tipsy. Me and a very good friend who was living in Virginia at the time. She and I both were living in Virginia at the time. I actually met her in California, but she and I were living in Virginia at the time. And she wanted to go and get a tattoo. She actually got hers on her ankle. I got mine right back here, and it's a tattoo of a butterfly. As I said, we were tipsy when we went to go get it, and I had to because I didn't know what to expect. The meaning of the butterfly. The meaning of the butterfly for me, and my purpose for getting it, is at that time I was having a lot of problems within my first marriage. And the butterfly was almost just the whole aspect of it, the whole chemistry of the butterfly being a cocoon and morphing, I guess is what I'm trying to say, into this beautiful, beautiful, absolutely beautiful creature. And that's exactly what I wanted my life to turn into. And it didn't happen for me instantaneously. It took some years, but I have morphed into a quite beautiful butterfly. Quite beautiful. Question number 8. Do you miss anyone right now? I most absolutely do miss someone right now. My father passed away about 9 years ago. And he passed away due to complications with a heart surgery. He actually was not doing well in surgery, but then he began to do better, and he took a turn for the worse, and he passed away within 2 days of the surgery. One of the reasons that I miss him is because I never really had a really good relationship with my father. I've always lived in the state of California. My father actually lived in Alabama, so the only time that I would be able to see him is when we went to visit my grandmother in Alabama. But in my adult life, after I had children and married, it was really important for me to build a relationship with my father. And at that time, I actually had been working on building a relationship with him. And I think the reason that I really miss him so much right now is because I never got to say goodbye. I never got to say I love you. But I know that my father is in definitely a greater place, and more than anything, he's in no more pain. Question number 9. To my knowledge, have I ever been cheated on? In my previous marriage, yes. In my present marriage, and no, I don't have any worries at all about that. Question number 10. Have you ever been in a physical fight? Okay, so I've always been known to be a peacemaker. I've always been known by my nieces and nephews to kind of make everything go over all right, you know, between my siblings. I'm not a rah-rah, no. I just, physical fights, no. I'm not a physical person. However, when I think I was about 9 or 10 in elementary school, I was very shy coming up as a young girl, very shy. I mean, this kind of shy where I would just look down, wouldn't have too much conversation with anybody. And Tommy was a Caucasian boy who used to always pick on me. Always. And I don't know what happened that day. I don't know if I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I don't know what happened. But I know I was talking to someone on recess in the sandbox, because back in those days you had sandboxes and you had slides and everything all within the sandboxes. And that boy said something to me, and it wasn't what he said, but when I said something back to him, it must have pierced him so bad. And I can still remember the pain of him punching me in my face. I can still remember it. But I also remember how my mama told me, if somebody ever put their hand on you, you do everything to poke their eyes out. Pick up a stick. That's how my mother was. Pick up a stick, a shoe, a rock, whatever you could, and just try to let them have it. And I went straight ballistic. He hit me in my face, and all I know is they was telling me that they had to dig Tommy out of the garbage can, because I literally beat him from the sandbox to the garbage can. So it is my thought that Tommy was, you know, trying to run for shelter. Okay, question 11. Have you ever been in love? Yes, I have. I've been in love more than once, but my love for my current husband, who is only my second husband, is the greatest love that I've ever had in my life. Question number 12. Have you ever catfished anyone? No, I haven't, but I have been catfished. 13. Have you ever cried over a lover or a boyfriend? Or yes, I have. And we're just going to leave that just like that. Question number 14. Have you ever danced without leaving room for Jesus? So when I read that, I went, have I ever danced and not left any room for Jesus? I was like, what? That doesn't even make sense. And then I got to thinking, I was like, oh, they talking about dirty dancing. Yeah, I danced back in the day when I was going through my clubbing days in my 30s. Yeah, I've danced and not left any room for anybody. Question number 15. Have you ever dated someone you met online? Yes, I have. And I actually dated that person for about 5 or 6 months. It was a straight disaster. It was a straight disaster, and I'm not going to say the name of the person, but he had issues with BO, body odor. He had issues with not brushing his teeth, but none of that appeared in the beginning. As we went further on, is when he decided to just become extremely gross. That was just so nasty. Question number 16. Have you ever led a person on? I think every woman on the face of the earth can say yes. And I can say yes. Have you ever been heartbroken? I have been heartbroken. I come from a military state. California has a lot of different military bases, and especially when I was coming up, there were a lot of military bases that were open. There's still a lot now in California, but there were a lot more when I was younger. And I remember working at Kmart, and I actually met this guy named Antoine, and he just lied from the rooter to the tutor, from the beginning to the end. He actually said his name was Gary Antoine, and it just was a whole big mess. And yeah, he seriously broke my heart. And I know that the word of God says vengeance is mine, but baby, when I tell you at 18 years old I got revenge, I got revenge. Gave his wife right back the necklace that he gave me that belonged to her. Yep, sure did. Question number 18. Now I did this one just to be really funny, but they had the nerve to ask, what do you weigh? I got a question. Why is that any of your business? Do you buy my clothes? Are you married to me? Are you trying to send me anything through the P.O. boxes? It's not your business what I weigh. I can pay what I weigh. And yeah. How tall are you? I will tell you that I'm 5'7". Question number 20. If you can choose one Disney prince to marry, who would it be? I most definitely, without a doubt, would marry Aladdin. I think Aladdin is the cutest prince ever. Oh my God, I loved Aladdin. Question number 21. If you could choose one Disney princess to be your best friend, who would you choose? I would choose Belle from Beauty and the Beast. Question number 22. If you could choose any celebrity to marry, who would it be? Oh my God. I absolutely, positively, without a doubt, love Matthew McConaughey. Matthew McConaughey is Caucasian. I have never dated a Caucasian man. I'm not normally attracted to Caucasian men, but Matthew McConaughey is a man. He's very attractive. He's just very handsome. I don't know, he's even Caucasian, but he's very nice looking. So Matthew McConaughey. The only thing about him that I read, and I don't know how much truth it is that he, I also read this about Beyonce too, and Jennifer Hudson, B.O., body odor. I don't know. I never met Beyonce. I never met Matthew McConaughey, and I never met Jennifer Hudson. But yeah, kind of read in, some little magazines and stuff that they was a little tink, So yeah. Question number 23. If I had to live in a world of the last TV show that I watched, where would I be living? I would be living in the state of Texas, and that would be quite all right with me, because if you guys know, my daughter, her husband, and my grandchildren just moved to Texas about 3 weeks, about a month ago. They moved to Texas, so that'd be right up my alley. Number 24. When was the last time you insulted someone? Okay, so my husband and I, about a month and a half ago, went to Walmart. I was so mad, I cannot even tell you what we went to Walmart for. We went to Walmart and we were coming out of the store, and I don't think we had groceries or anything. Yeah, I don't think we had groceries or anything. I may have been going to, I don't know. I know that we went to Walmart, and we actually didn't go to the Walmart that I normally go to, because in the city that I used to live in, there was what we called the good Walmart, and there was a ghetto Walmart. Well, we lived around the corner or down the street from the good Walmart, and the ghetto Walmart, I would only go to that Walmart when I was in the area. This particular time, we were actually in the area at that Walmart. Oh, I know we went to go get like deodorant, you know, just to pick up some necessities or whatever. And as we're walking, to come out the store, there was a man who was trying to turn into like this left-hand parking space. The people were supposed to be coming out, but obviously they took too long. They were taking too long. He was just revving up his car, and I think he had like a it was like a luxury car, it was a BMW or a Mercedes-Benz, but it was like a coupe, you know, a sporty one. And he just kept revving up the car. And I was like, really? And he gonna just sit there? But I was just thinking this in my head. And at the time, my husband and I were walking, and my husband said to me, he said, go ahead and come on this side with me. Now, normally when my husband says, go ahead and come on this side with me, or he'll, you know, reach for me and kind of like motion me to go on that side, I always do it. Always. When we go for walks, when we're in Vegas, always, he's always on the outside, you know, on the outside of the street. But this particular time, we're in the parking lot. I didn't want to be obedient straight up. I don't know why, but I didn't. And so this man is, you know, revving up his car. He's trying to get these people to let him in. And so when he did that, I turned around and looked at him like this, you know, like, don't rev up with me walking in front of you. And then he kind of like put on his gas to go forward. That's when my husband said, just come over here on this side. I said, no, I'm not. I'm going to keep on walking. So anyway, I kept on walking. And when I kept on walking, he was right past me and almost hit me. That's why we need to listen to our husbands. Our husbands are our protectors. Listen to your husband. Talking to me too. So anyway, he revved up and he drove by. And at that time, when he got out of the car, I had made up my mind. I'm gonna watch out for him. I'm putting stuff in the car, but I'm gonna watch out for him, because when he come through here, he gonna hear from me. Normally, I let people know what I want them to know, and I'm done with it. I don't go back and forth and keep going back and forth, because that's not a peacemaker. It's not. And a lot of times you can mess up your witness when you do that, when you go back and forth. At this particular time, I didn't care about a witness. I didn't care about his salvation. I didn't care about nothing. I was straight up in the flesh. And honey, when that man came out of that car, and I had my head down and I looked up and I said, did he pass by? And my husband said, no, not yet. And this man came walking by, and I said, that's him. And I'm talking to my husband, and you say, oh yes, me. I just want you to know the man was called everything but a child of God. I called him everything. I told him that I would bust his head to the white meat. I'll do this, I'll do that. And the little kids were over on the other side walking with their parents to get in the car talking about, Mommy, what is bust the head to the white meat? But this man took me so over the top, okay? He was talking to me in a monotone that wasn't disrespectful. He was just saying, well, you see what kind of car I had. And he said, I was just waiting for the people to come out. He was very sarcastic, kind of choppy with his responses. And that is what I had a problem with. And so anyway, to make a long story short, he tells me, well, you know, next time just be careful. And when he said that, I went from 10 to 150. And I told him, don't tell me what to be careful on, nothing, blue, 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 blue. You be careful. I said, you be careful. I said, because had you hit me, it would have been some problems. I said, but you know what? You can just carry your tail on in it. I told that man off so bad, I couldn't even sleep that night. I had to ask God to forgive me because I had clowned and act up so bad. Now, this is the type of thing that happens to you when you are a born-again believer, a Christian, and you have the spirit of conviction. Conviction was on me so bad that night, I could not sleep. It made me look at the situation like, how would I handle it next time? Because I clearly failed that test. Now, I have been in situations here recently where I've had to just look at people and say, you know what? Okay, God bless you. Or, you know what? Okay. Because people are just ignorant. That's just all to it. They're just ignorant. So yeah, I insulted him something kind of bad. Yeah, I really did. I believe we are on question number 25. Mention a movie that always makes you cry. The movie that always makes me cry is Still Magnolia. Still Magnolias. Even the black version made me cry. That is a very good movie, but it's also a very sad movie. So, Still Magnolia. Question number 26. What do you think about the most? What do I think about the most? So I'm back again. Hubby decided to call. He just got off work. So question number 26, I believe. It's either 26 or 27. 26. What do you think about the most? What I think about the most is people. I think about their lives, their choices, the plans that they make, and what it is that they're going to do for their life as far as salvation. I'm concerned about people. I get up every day, and this is not a on my back. No, 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 no. This is not a pat on my back. This has nothing to do with anything that I've done, but everything that what God has done. But I get up every day at 6 a.m. and I pray for the entire world. I don't know who you are, but I'm praying for you. So that's what I think about the most, people. Question number 27. What is the most disgusting habit I have? The most disgusting habit I believe I have is itching my nose like this. I do it gracefully, but I believe that some people be like, gosh, every time she comes on a video, she's doing her nose or she's doing this. You guys, I am allergic to pet dander. I'm allergic to pollen. I'm allergic to the environment. I'm allergic to this. I'm allergic to that. So it is what it is. My skin itches. My eyeballs itch. My throat itch. My earlobes itch. My hair itches when I put certain products in. I'm very, very allergic to a lot of things. So it is what it is. All right. Question number 28. Mention something that makes you happy. The one thing that, I got a lot of things that make me happy, but the one thing that makes me happy is the love of my grandchildren. I have 2 grandchildren. They are 9 months and 3 years old. And I remember when my children had already grew up, were not babies, and my sister had grandchildren. She said, when you have grandchildren, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a love that you will never, ever, ever, ever be able to understand. And I didn't know what the devil she was talking about. But I tell you, when my daughter had my grandson, I knew immediately. His personality, the love they have for you. And then my daughter ended up having my little granddaughter, and it just became double. I mean, my grandchildren make me happy. They really, really do. Number 29, mention something that makes you sad. I believe the thing that makes me sad right now is the fact that my entire family is all over the United States. They're all over the United States. I have a brother that lives in Washington State. I have a sister and my mother that live in Georgia. My daughter, her husband, and children live in Texas. I have a son that lives in Norfolk, Virginia. I have a son that lives in California, but we all know that it is my plan to be leaving here. So just the fact that I have family all over the world, and we've always been very, very close knit, and especially me and my children. So it's really hard, but I believe it's just a growing experience. Question number 29. What is something you like to do when you're sad? Unfortunately, I like to eat sugar. I love sugar. One of my favorite sugar surges is Twizzlers. People be like, oh, Twizzlers. They taste like wax. They taste like rubber. Nope, they taste like yum. You have to know how to pick a Twizzler. Twizzlers have to be soft. You have to make sure that they just put them on the rack. If they are hard, you're going to mess around and have a headache. Question number 31. What is the best gift that you have ever received? I believe the best gift that I have ever received is the gift of my two children. The gift of my three children. Yep, that's the best gift that I have ever received. The gift of my three children. They have been there when nobody else has. They've been my friend. My daughter has been my A-spoon from day one. Yeah. And I think the other best gift, I got quite a few. My children. The second best gift is my older sister Tish. She's been the gift that's kept on giving, because she is my personal comedian. And then my husband. Those are some gifts that I couldn't imagine life without. Question number 32. What is the biggest fear you have to overcome? The biggest fear that I have to overcome is learning to trust others, because even though I think about people, even though I pray for people, I don't always trust people, because I have trusted people in the past, and unfortunately, when I've done that, it's been pretty bad. The outcome has been pretty bad. Question number 33. Have you ever had a pregnancy scare? Nope. Every time I thought I was pregnant, I was. And I've only been pregnant 3 times. That pregnancy scare stuff, no ma'am. No ma'am, no sir. 34. Question number 34. What was the last text you sent? I texted my husband a couple of hours ago to tell him that I was recording the playoff game with the Pistons, and I forgot the other team. Yeah, in the playoffs. In the NBA playoffs. Question number 35. What is the last thing that made you laugh? Okay. So, I'm not a very big movie. I'm reaching for my computer. I'm not a very big movie person. But yesterday, we actually seen a movie that was hilarious. That movie, I mean, I laughed at that movie from the time the movie came on until the time the movie went off. Now, my husband actually, and you know what? That movie is from, that's an old movie. That movie is from 2014, and it was called The Other Woman. It had, I'm looking, you guys, it has Cameron Diaz in it. Leslie Mann and Kate Upton. That movie was so hilarious. I mean, I laughed throughout the whole movie, and that was last night. I had a good laugh off of that movie. That movie was so hilarious. So if you can, watch the movie. That movie is funny. Okay, y'all, we only have 2 more. I have 37 questions, and we are on the 36th question. And it says, have you ever been arrested? I've never been arrested for anything. However, I have been harassed by the Solano County police officers in Solano County, California. I actually bought a car in 2015, and it was a Dart. It was a little sporty car, metallic gray. Everybody knows that when you buy a car that you don't automatically get tags most of the time, unless it's a used car. If it's a used car, a lot of times they may have the license plate for you, but they may not. I remember this was on a summer day back in 2015, and I probably had only had the car 6 weeks. I got pulled over by the police. It was 98 degrees. The police officer pulls me over. He asks for my license. Now, I'm one of those kind of people, when you pull me over and you ask for my license, I oblige quickly. I ask you, can I turn off my car? I ask you, can I go in my glove compartment? I ask you, can I take my license out? I don't want you to think that I'm doing nothing quick and slickster. Nope. I ask for everything. So anyway, long story short, the police officer, I think what probably was happening is he was training a rookie, because it was an older police officer, but there was this younger guy, and he asked me for my license, and they literally had me sitting there like 15 minutes before they came back to the car. And when the young guy came back to the car, he said to me, he said, you've never been arrested for anything. You've never been arrested for anything, nothing. I mean, you never had anything on your license as far as any tickets or anything. Nope. If I had a ticket, I paid it, because I ended up paying a ticket. I did have a ticket from some years ago where my youngest child wanted to be up under his mama all the time. And I know one time, this was stupid, I had went right down the street to the grocery store, and he wanted to go with me. I plopped him in there and I put him on a seatbelt, but I didn't put him in his car seat. And I did get pulled over, and they wrote me a ticket, and I didn't go to court. I ended up moving out of state, but when I came back and I tried to renew my license, by the time I came back, the fees were $686, like $700. California will try to get you for everything they can possibly get you for. Long story short, I paid the fee, and I went ahead and was able to get my license. But at this particular time, the police officer that stopped me was saying, well, it's something crazy on your license. There's this crazy code on your license. And in all the years, and this is an older one telling me, he says, in all the years that I've ever been on the police force, I've never seen nothing like that. So by then I'm looking at him like, what? No? What is he trying to insinuate? He says, you've never been arrested? No, I haven't been arrested for anything. So anyway, they had me sitting out there, and surprisingly, there was this black guy who drove by, and he was in his Corvette, and he ended up pulling over on the side of the road. It was like in this rural area. He ended up pulling over on the side of the road, and he just sat there, you know, while they had me pulled over, because he had went to the store down the street, came back, and I was still sitting there. So I guess it was just a citizen that was concerned, thank God. Long story short, they had me sitting there and just sitting there and sitting there. And they were like, well, we're just going to write you a citation for not having tags. I said, why would you write me a citation for not having tags when you can look up in that window right there, and it has my husband and my name on it, and you can see the date that we actually bought the car. I also have the stuff that I gave you in the glove compartment. Why do I have to go to court? I have proof of insurance. This doesn't make any sense. Come to find out, they had a code on my license for something like, I mean, they were asking me, well, have you ever been arrested for prostitution? I mean, it was a mess. That was a mess. But you know what we figured out? Me and my daughter figured out what it was. Is at that time, my younger son was in high school, and he used to play basketball. He had gotten a growth on his neck and was out of school for 3 weeks. The school called and wanted me to bring documentation from the doctor that my son was actually in the hospital that day. And if I didn't, they were going to notify the authorities that he was truant. Come to find out, my son was sent to a specialist, and they were going to give him emergency surgery. We found out that he had strep throat, and he developed an infection in his neck. They put him on a heavy dose of antibiotics, and it was the grace of God through prayer and everything. We went back the next day, the growth was out of his neck, everything was fine. But we found out that is what it was. Well, you know what? Ironically, 2 days before I had gotten pulled over, they had just dismissed that whole entire thing. So I don't know what that was, but I've never been arrested. Harassed, but never arrested. Have I ever been convicted of a crime? No, ma'am. No, sir. That is question number 37. And that is it for my TMI, too much information questions. Now, I will tell you guys, that I didn't answer any questions about sex. I didn't answer any questions about sex in my past. I didn't answer any questions that I felt were irrelevant. I am not one that continues to live in my past. I'm moving on toward the future, reaching for the mark of the high prize, and I don't have time to be talking about foolery. But I had a lot of fun doing the too much information tag. And if you haven't done it, ItagYOU. ItagYOU. What I will do, the questions that I answered, I will go ahead and put those in the description box if you want to answer those. I'll also provide the link for the too much information question tag. There are actually 100 questions, so you don't have to answer all of them. They just want you to answer some of them so that your YouTube subscribers can get to know you better. Thank you so much for tuning in to Carol's Daily Sauce. God bless you guys. I hope that this has been a very interesting and informative video to you. Please share, like, comment, and subscribe. But also, please don't forget to click on the bell to be reminded of each and every video that I upload. You all have a wonderful, wonderful night. God bless you. Stay tuned for day 2 of Taming the Tongue. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.